According to Section 55, in the absence of a contract to the contrary, the buyer and the seller of immovable property respectively are subject to certain rights and liabilities, which are as follows. The seller is bound to disclose to the buyer any material defect in the property, to produce to the buyer on his request for examination all documents of title relating to the property which are in the seller's possession or power. The seller is bound to answer to all relevant questions of buyers related to property or title. The seller, on receiving the purchase price from the buyer, has to execute a proper conveyance of the property at a proper time and place. The seller is liable to take proper care of the property and all relating documents as a man of ordinary prudence would take between the date of the contract of sale and the delivery of the property. After the completion of the sale, the seller is liable to give to the buyer the possession of the property. Seller is also liable to pay all public charges, rents, and interest due up to the date of sale. He is also liable to discharge all encumbrances on the property existing on the property. The buyer is bound to disclose to the seller any fact as to the nature or extent of the seller's interest in the property of which the buyer is aware and the seller is not aware and which materially increases the value of such interest. The buyer is entitled to pay the purchase money to the seller or anyone else as he directs. After the completion of the sale, the buyer is liable for the loss arising from destruction, injury, or decrease in the value of the property. The buyer is liable to pay public charges and rents arising from the property. He is also liable to pay any principal money due to any encumbrances subject to which the property is sold and the interest resulting thereon. Rights of the seller. Before the completion of the sale, the seller is entitled to all the rents and profits before the ownership of the property passes to the buyer. However, after the completion of the sale, the seller is entitled to charge upon the property when the whole or a part of the purchase money is unpaid and the ownership of the property has passed to the buyer. Rights of buyer. After the completion of the sale, the buyer is entitled to the benefit of any improvement or increase in the value of the property. He is also entitled to the rents and profits resulting from the property. The buyer is entitled unless he has improperly declined to accept delivery of property and charge for it against the seller. When he has declined to accept delivery, any earnest or cost given to him will not be refunded.